Sunday, May 9th, the moon is in Aries for the majority of the day. It will be shifting into Tauran energy late evening, locking in around 8:45 p.m. And this is really going to ground us out. We're probably going to sleep very well, very solid, very heavy. Again, that earthy energy really does kind of slow things down, really does weight our bodies, our physical bodies. Why? Because there's a lot of light codes that need to be downloaded. We're still absorbing light codes, and we have to be kind of low and slow in our physical bodies in order to adapt to these new energies. And yes, we are very much in the new moon window, and that new moon definitely is going to put a focus on stepping back, on retreating, on kind of being a little bit more about ourselves, quieting the mind, quieting the heart space. That new moon is a dark moon in the sky. If you're not a subscriber to the Moon Guide, I would definitely recommend you do that, because we walk through the lunar phases day by day. We tap into the energy of the moon, and we really focus in on how to use this lunar energy to our advantage. So we do have the new moon window really triggering a lot of heavier, dark emotions that we would rather kind of fast forward through. But again, the new moon is all about highlighting what it is that we no longer want to experience, what we want to detach from, what we want to be done with, so that, of course, we can create a brand new framework for intentions on what it is we do want to experience, what it is we do want to create, what it is we want to build. I am going to suggest, highly recommend, that you download this moon guide for the new moon in Taurus. This is our last moon for manifesting before we jump into eclipse season. And this is going to be a big deal. Of course, the Tauran energy wants us to focus on building, creating, testing those foundations, initializing new plans for new foundations to be built. It is where we get to plant the seeds of the new cycle of what it is we want to experience. And we need to take every single opportunity that we can get at this particular point to align with the power of the cosmos and really use it to our advantage. So this moon energy, we have 8 different aspects taking place throughout the day. And this is definitely going to be tweaking our emotions, intensifying our thoughts and our emotions so that we can see the tension point. Again, a little minor breakdown before we break through. This is definitely going to put an emphasis on our extreme emotions. Why? Because the moon is going to be squaring Pluto. This is probably the biggest moon aspect that I even want to talk about here today, because this Plutonian energy is very extreme. It's very intense. It's very dark. It's very transformative. It's very much about death and destruction, seeing what in our thought patterns, in our emotions, we have to let go of. And highly likely today, we are going to be tested. We are going to be triggered in certain ways in order for us to see the way that our ego reacts, our avatar reacts. Because again, if we were operating from the higher self, we would be acting as the observer. We wouldn't be initially reacting emotionally to situations. We would be able to step aside and see where the lessons are, why the cycle is happening once again. But not today. We're going to be very stuck in our physical form. Why? Well, we're still in Taurus season, and now the moon is in Taurus. And Tauran energy is very much about the physical senses, the physical body, the physical environment. And so we are likely going to be triggered very intensely, very extreme in our emotions. And those particular emotions will highlight for us where endings need to take place, where we need to cut the cord, where we need to detach, where it is we need to move on. So it's definitely a tension point, divinely scripted, in order for us to cut the cord with the old self, with old situations, with old attachments, so that we can focus on the new that we want to bring to life under the new moon. The moon will also be sextiling Jupiter. So Jupiter is about growth and expansion. Definitely putting a huge magnifying glass on these intense and very extreme emotions that we will be feeling. Again, Jupiter wants to kind of make things bigger than they actually are. Definitely over exaggerates in a lot of scenarios and situations, and just is going to amplify whatever energy, whatever frequency and vibration that we're actually tapping into. Now, the good thing here is that, the sextile is a positive aspect, is a positive angle that the moon is making with Jupiter. And this is going to boost our confidence, boost our optimism, and boost our acceptance. And I want to bring up acceptance just very quickly because a lot of these energies are being divinely scripted to trigger us so that we can see where it is that things need to end, where it is that we need to put a certain death to our emotions, to our thoughts, to our feelings, where it is that maybe in our relationships, in our, friendships, in our romantic relationships, business workingships, that we need to create space, that we need to put a little bit more of a divide in there so that we can create a different energy exchange. So the fact that we're in this new moon window, things are very intense, they're very amplified, they're very enhanced, and definitely creating a tension point. Suddenly we see very clearly where it is that the universe is asking us to make these changes, and then that Jupiter energy kind of boosts us with confidence. We are able to accept life the way it is. Again, we're still in Taurus season. This is about seeing our physical actions, our physical involvement, our physical environment, listening to our body, the way it's responding to certain people, to certain circumstances, and then making the adjustments in order to honor what is coming to light. So the moon sextiling Jupiter after this very dark aspect with Pluto, showing us where a certain death and destruction is needed to take place. Now we can move on. Now we can see the bigger picture. Now we can grow. Now we can expand. And we're confident that we have what it takes in order to do just that. Also, quick shout out to all the moms out there. Yes, it's Mother's Day. Yes, many of us are celebrating Mother's Day. Just want to remind you that being a mom, being able to create life, to nurture life, to basically be the portal between the cosmic energies of the divine source, bringing life into this physical realm is no joke. It's a very serious task that not everyone is blessed with. And I just want to give a quick shout out to all the moms out there doing just an amazing job, even when you think you're absolutely just barely getting by. I want to remind you that your main purpose of being a mother is to nurture these little light beings into a perfect aligned form so that they have what it takes to do their jobs when they come of age. Many moms do not realize the fact that yes, of course, you might have other missions. Yes, of course, you might have a bigger, broader purpose in this life. But the biggest purpose, if you have been blessed with nurturing a child throughout this particular realm, the biggest purpose, the biggest mission you have is to make sure that you protect that little light being so that when they become of age, they are able to step into their mission that they are already very aware of, by the way, because most of the children being brought into this world, especially the last 7 to 10 years, they already know what their mission is. They are light bringers. They are gatekeepers. They are anchors in for the new light codes to basically trigger new earth. So I want to give a huge shout out, a huge thank you to all the moms out there in the world, basically being the gatekeepers between the cosmic realms and, of course, our earthly realm here. You have to do what is necessary to remind yourself each and every single day that you are magic. You have created magic. You have birthed magic. You are raising magic. And even on your worst day, just know that you are honoring the soul contract which you have engaged in with your child. You are honoring that each and every day, even when you feel at your lowest point. So shout out to the moms. Happy Mother's Day. Give yourself a little bit of love.